Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Bear, and joining me today is the Radio Tom. I'm not forgetting you this time.
Yay! Hello, everybody. Hello.
And of course, Roadypie. Very, very orange today. Colorful.
I would say it's like spectrum.
Spectrum,
colored.
like a sunset.
Yes.
A sunset in Martinique.
Mm-hmm. How are you? How's everyone?
Well, it's going. It's been a week.
Yes.
On the bright side, even though it's been a week, I've still had a chance to play some games. But yes, it has been a week. How about you, Radio Tom? It's been a week for you too.
It has definitely been a week for me as well. Haven't played nearly as much as I would like. Just real world stuff going on. So yeah, it's been a slow week in the game realm.
Yeah. Some weeks have gone better than others. You'd think with being stuck at home, you get a lot of playtime, but
you think.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes you discover like, oh wow, there's a whole lot of stuff. Why am I busier than ever?
So true.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about the impending like life difficulties that are cropping up in this weird time. But we're here to talk about the different game releases that have been coming out. And, of course, before we get to that, we do just have... What did we play this last week? I'm getting ahead of myself. So, what about you, Roadypie? What have you been up to this week?
I played quite a few games this week. Mm-hmm. So, I played a bit more 7 Days to Die with my friends. I was kind of in two minds about whether to play with them, but they were saying, "Oh no, come out!" You know, the Horde is about to come, so that's every 7 days,
mm-hmm.
which is like, you know, so in between those 7 days, you're building up your defenses and everything. You're getting all the ammo you need or crafting it, and so this is like when it's all going to happen. And my friends have made quite a few. Like play buildings or headquarters that they use to kill the horde. So we were trying out. So there's like 4 of them that mainly play it, and each one has their own house. Mm-hmm. And we were trying one person's house this time around, and it was a lot of fun. It just feels quite cathartic just mowing down a load of zombies. While this person has set up traps in this like very, very well done house. So yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I think if I was told to like go out and collect things and do this, that, and the other, and someone else was crafting it, I think I could get into that. But yeah, that was nice. And then I did finish True Fear 2. I can't remember whether we spoke about whether I'd actually finished it or if I was going. I was.
Oh yeah.
In the midst of finishing it, but I did finish it. I kind of know what's going on, kind of not know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Everything's not explained. It leaves it on the cliffhanger. Because it is a trilogy apparently. They are in touch with people on Facebook. They did release like what they're working on like last week actually, which was surprising because I'd had this in my library for a while, but they're still working on it. It is gonna come out. They didn't say soonish, but it is going to come out. The cliffhanger was kind of surprising. You have to wonder the motivation of the character. You kind of know why she's doing it, but there are certain things you don't know why she's doing. So I was had to make this potion, and I was to drink it at the end. And considering everything that's happened, you'd think, why are you just drinking some random liquid You know, why? Also, they went to this place without telling anybody and without letting the police know. Considering what happened in the that's the door. Considering what happened in the first game, it's like, why? Seriously, you're not telling anyone? Seriously?
Oh wow.
All right. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was a bit weird. Then I played Endless Fables 3, Dark Maw, which is another hidden object game. This is one I wouldn't recommend. I definitely recommend True Fear, but obviously not on the higher levels. The advanced, whatever is it, advanced? Yeah. But this one was just very bland. It was you didn't really. You would just go from one place to another. It tried to be scary in places, but it felt like they just threw it in without really thinking about what makes something scary. It just made things look gross. So there was this these creatures that kind of stop you going into the next scene, and the first one was the teddy bear came alive, and then its stuffing just like came out of its mouth, and it's just like, no, that's kind of just gross. That's not really scary. And then the next one was even more extreme. It was this like scarecrow that had a pumpkin for a head, and obviously its innards came out. And then to make it even more scary, a blackbird just popped out of the top of its head like, and it was just like, it's like, that's not scary. That's just weird. That's just weird.
I don't know. You sound kind of creeped out, which does lend into scary a little bit.
I don't know. No, I was just confused. I was just left confused and like grossed out, I think. Oh, and then laughed. So yeah, I don't think that was supposed to be what they were aiming for, but oh well. And then I played Demon Hunters 4, Riddles of Light. Again, this is another one that's just like, you're just going. I think this one was done a lot like better than Endless Fables 3. There was quite an interesting story. You have to you're trying to get rid of a god, an ancient Egyptian god. You're trying to cause chaos and save your friend, but it's okay. It's okay. And then I did play something else that we're going to talk about a bit later. I did play more Final Fantasy 11, of course. Oh. But yeah, that's my list. But what about you, Tom? What are you doing?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking her about her list. I was like, wait, I thought we just got a list. Okay, I was confused. I'm having a moment. What can I tell you? It's been a quiet week on the game front for me. It's been a lot of just chill out Animal Crossing. And then I played a lot of Teamfight Tactics. I just needed like my sort of board game strategy fix in of some sort. So it's been a lot of that, but I really wanted to get Radio General played and in, but I didn't get a chance to pick that up this week. So hopefully sometime in the near future I can get that one picked up, played, and maybe try to somehow do a review of it, because that game is still intrigued the daylights out of me. Even though the whole the war simulation part of it, I really kind of disconnect from really quickly. It was just the mechanics of that game alone, how you're doing the voice commands. You still like are like on a general on a 10 keeping track of his troops using like a tabletop setting, and you have to keep track of everything yourself on that. I don't know, it just, as far as a video game goes, it was something I haven't seen implemented or used before. It's something very unique. So I still hope to give that a shot here in the not too distant future.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Dewey? What you been playing?
What about me? Well, I actually went back. So my goal was to write a bunch of old reviews this last week. I have it on like a daily task list. And of course, daily task list did not get finished this week. But I did play the demo of Second, and left my recommendation on it. So Second, I do give this game a recommended tryout, especially since there is a free demo. However, as a huge fan, and it's going to seem a little unfair, because I don't necessarily like comparing two games, but Slay the Spire, as you may know, was my last year's Game of the Year, in my opinion. And Second has a lot of similarities to it. I don't think they were necessarily trying to homage, because they did start development at only a little bit after they did over at. So I'm pretty sure I don't think it's like a case of a clone. I think it's just like, oh, there are a bunch of different games. They're like, let's make a card game simulator that's a single player roguelike. There are a few games that have come out around the same time as Slay the Spire. I'm forgetting words. The issue with Second. Animation is great. The issue is that the UI is not... It just doesn't feel very nice to use. There's not any sort of haptic feedback, like there's not a proper like sound. It just feels unfinished. And a lot of the UI feels like it could fit the environment a bit better, because you see the battlescape and the characters are really beautifully done, and then the UI just kind of like just there's not a lot of I don't see a lot of imaginative like use that they could have gone with. They could have done a lot of different things with the UI, and I don't think they did. And the soundtrack doesn't put me into the mood for this sort of sci-fi adventure.
Right, yeah.
Ouch, yeah.
All that said, and the tutorial's non-existent. It basically gives you a list of hints. You can go to like the training section, which is just like, this does this, this does this, this does this, and it goes on, and it keeps going. And it's like, so are you going to give me like an in-game demonstration, or are you going to give me like a practice boss? Now, to be fair, once you start the campaign, it does it again. Like, as you go through the campaign, it'll like give a pop-up to explain things as you go. So that helps, but it's still... There's a lot of mechanics going on in this game, and it does not, again, to their credit, it does not work like Slay the Spire. There's a lot of additional mechanics in this game that don't behave that way. It is its own unique beast, and I think that's where people can get the most enjoyment out of this game, is figuring out how this game works. But it is like trial and error to figure out how it works. So it's so it is a little bit frustrating. And ultimately, I think for folks looking for a puzzle experience that they get to figure out how this works, and maybe they might find the story interesting, and it's got some great art again, I think it's worth trying out. But really, if you're looking for a really good roguelike card game, if you haven't done Slay the Spire yet, I would say get Slay the Spire, and then try Second.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it's not bad. I think it's worth checking out. It just doesn't have that nice polished feel to it. So yeah. But the card mechanics, I will say again, are very interesting. I just don't entirely understand how all of them work. But the ones that I did figure out, it was like, oh, that's actually pretty smart. There is smart design here. Which, anyhow. So besides Second, I did play some more Crosscode. I'm still just continuing that, still stuck in Chapter 4. I ran into another streamer who was playing Crosscode 50 hours in, and he's at Chapter 9, so I'm like, wow, I'm at Chapter 4, 10 hours in. Cool. Seems the chapters get longer as you go, but it's still a blast. I'm trying to think of, Guild Wars. I played the good old Guild Wars original recently. It is really, really good. It really stands up. They've now made it so that windowed full screen works, which seems like, oh, why wouldn't that work? It didn't really. But now it does. So excited. They've also updated how the graphics work. There's additional graphics options. It doesn't... There's a lot of bugs that have been fixed that have been there for a really, really long time. I'm just glad that it's just back and working, and that it's kind of like, even though it's not getting content updates, it's still being supported. There were a ton of people online playing. I was like, oh wow, it's like the community's alive again, and I think it's entering that nostalgia phase where people are now nostalgic, so they're going back to it. So I'm gonna be playing this with some friends, actually. So and that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
Ooh, so that's our gameplay, and hopefully next week, life will give us a chance to breathe. But yeah, that is what that is. Releases. There are still devs working in this time, and I think for all the weird circumstance with the stay-at-home rules and such, a lot of these independent studios were already working remotely with each other, and so I think we're going to be seeing a huge. We're going to be seeing a dearth of the AAA games. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of... Because there's more people who want to play games right now, and fewer developers making games right now actively. Due to, some... The AAA game studios, there are things like voice acting, there's things like motion capture, and those just aren't concerns for most smaller developers. It's like, all we need is our computers. That's all we need. Yeah. So I think that's going to be something we're going to see a season of sort of it's a weird, that's like a not so great circumstance, but I think it's going to cause a sort of blossoming for the independent games. And we've got some independent games to talk about, starting with our catch-ups from February 19th through the 24th. We have Taur. Taur
is an action strategy sci-fi game. Control the prime cannon and unlock all of its powerful weapons and abilities. Build turrets, droids, aircraft, and more as you fight to protect the homeworld of Taur droids against a relentless invasion. Will your Taur stand against the Imperium war machine?
I like how this looks.
Isn't it sharp?
Yeah.
Damn, it looks really smooth.
Yeah.
And I like the UI as well. Like when you're going into the forge, or you're looking at the campaign or something, there's this nice wheel UI, which is really nice. It is when I used to play RTS and stuff, this is something that it's I'm kind of drawn to, but right, I don't know if I'm in that kind of frame of mind to sort of play these kind of games right now, because you go through phases, don't you? It's like, I feel kind of like, I want to play something nice and calming, or it's like, oh no, I need a bit of action or something like that. So yeah, and I need something that makes me think, or I need story. So. And
then you have that Roller Coaster Tycoon mood that pops up every few years.
Exactly.
This game looks great. Again, low poly art style, but this is done right because they used low poly art from a distance. And that's where it really shines here, because it provides a really crisp look. And then again, I hate extreme glow, but they have extreme glow here, but the glow is like the locations where the extreme glow is small. And so it gives that, because you're again zoomed out from a zoomed out view, it provides this like really eye-catching but not overwhelming look. So good. They do things that I don't generally like, but because their camera angle and design, it works.
Yeah, it gives me a little bit of like Star Wars battle vibes of like here are bright colors, explosions, everything going on, and it just visually works. There's been like a few times clicking around on the screenshots where I'm like, a little bit of like the background world is just kind of blah and boring, but I'm like, with all the action going on, I'm like, I'm not paying attention to it anyway.
Yeah, I think they definitely saved on effort, and to a degree, it might be intentional. Where if the background was more textured, it might be harder to locate your units, etc. And I think they're going for an extremely visible, easy to track RTS. Well, it's also a tower defense, so
yeah. I was looking at like it's mostly positive, and more recent reviews, because altogether it's like 516 reviews, but it's 72% positive. So I was wondering, and that's the recent ones. So I was wondering, what people have against it really, or what issues there may be. And it's like someone's put it succinctly saying this game fundamentally is really good, but it gets repetitive really quickly. And I can see that with like a lot of tower defense games. I think
I think that's the genre in general. It tends to get that way pretty quick.
It depends on how quickly though, because this game is $24.99, so $25 US. So is it gonna get boring 10 hours in?
This person played. So it said the first hour was a lot of fun, and then beyond that, so they said after day 15 or so, I started getting shields. The game turned from a struggle for survival to how many aircrafts can I fit in one map simulator.
So they broke the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and they've already clocked 2.8 hours on there. So, and like you were saying, it's, I mean, in the UK it's £19.49. It's like that's a lot of money for just under 3 hours. Yeah.
And this is a situation where, I mean, other devs might make the approach of like, you get unlocks, they add some roguelite elements, they add perhaps different, like maybe you can play as a different faction, so you have an entirely different suite of units or something. So there's ways that it could been expanded without even too much more design work, because if you already have the art made for the enemies, then just let them use the enemy units, that sort of thing. So yeah, that there's definitely I wouldn't say definitely, but there's possibly a value differential depending on the person. Some people, this may give them an opportunity to veg out for 100 hours. But yeah, that is concerning to hear if a significant minority of about 30% of people are like, the fun does kind of end after a while though.
Yeah, that's a shame. What have you got for us next?
Yeah. And Taur is developed by a solo dev, however, Echo and Dev. So it is a solo developer. Alrighty, our next title is Lumote, which does have a free demo, by the way.
And Justin bundle too. Lumote. Play as Lumote, a squishy bioluminescent creature on a quest to overthrow the master moat. possess, jump, and think your way through this beautiful 3D puzzle platformer with vivid visuals and quirky characters.
The glow.
Yeah.
I actually really like this neon landscape puzzle. This for me is very visually eye-catching and stunning. I know you're not a glow guy, but
no. And I will say I don't hate it as much as I normally would, because again, I think it fits the world they're trying to create. Because it looks so weird and alien. I think if this was like set in like a city or something, I know what a city looks like, and like this would be like, this is too much. Well, this is like you're like in some weird plasma or something, and you're all like bioluminescent glows. I can maybe tolerate this. Lumote, I'm giving you a pass.
You're good with me. I agree. Sorry, Tom.
Oh no, you're fine. I jumped in on you, so go right ahead, Miss Rhodey. My bad.
Yeah, no, I like that. This got beautiful flowers, these glowing flowers, and it's against these like harsh, very straight lines, and like look very, I don't know, like is it a city? Is it, you know, is it some technology? It's just, it looks really well done, and it looks really intriguing, and it is very eye-catching, and but obviously, you know, it being a platformer, it's not really my thing. But I'm interested that it says it's a casual adventure platform in the tags there. So I'm wondering what makes this casual, if it is you know,
looking at the screenshot and the character movement, it doesn't seem particularly fast-paced or particularly like demanding on difficult jumps, at least like of the screenshots that we see and of the video. It doesn't look super, it looks like it takes a bit more of a slower pace than a lot of platformers. It does. One thing I will say is every screenshot looks like it could be a computer, like a desktop background.
It really does. I'm loving the artwork on this.
That's color theory right there. Just the contrast of the blues and the reds, and just really excellent color theory.
Yeah, there was times I was losing the dark ground that you can actually stand on to the infinite void on some of the darker maps. But that's just me with a slight nitpick.
Yeah. It is $20 US, $19.99, but it does have a free demo, so you can at least try it out before you buy. I'm curious how many platforming levels there are.
Yeah, it's £15.49 in the UK. 100% positive, but only 14 people with reviews. Yeah, I'm surprised actually. It doesn't tell us how many levels there are. It says it's one big world, so that's perhaps why you're just So there are 6 towers and 50 puzzles. So, but that does seem a bit steep, to be honest.
20. Yeah, and I think as a studio, I'm looking at their website at the moment, and I don't see. It's a 4 dev team. They're based in Vancouver, and I don't think they have another game. So here it's a small team, and I think they've done an excellent job. Like, there's not many games that, again, like every screenshot can be a desktop background. Like, I can think of Grease that is like that. Gris.
Gris, yeah.
Gris.
Yeah. But there's not many other games that I would give that level of praise. They are 4 devs. Michelle, Kyle, Aaron, and Paul. But if they had the price at a $5, I could see them selling many more copies.
Yeah.
Like exponentially more copies.
Oh, absolutely. It's, you know, I'm seeing anywhere between like over 2 hours with like people putting impressions to, I would say between 5 and 8 hours or something like that. But it's just for a first time, especially there are a lot of indie platformers out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to think about, right, okay, so how many of these platformer products are on the market, and what am I bringing to that market, and how do I stand out from everybody else, and how do I get my word out there? Pricing it at like over 15 quid is not going to get you a lot of love, unfortunately.
Yeah. And of course, like, no disrespect to the team, but there's a lot of seasoned developers on Steam that have released many, many games, and they still release their games for $12 to $15.
Yeah, completely.
And you know, of course, some of them, especially if they sold really big, they might be regularly be doing 20 or 30. But that's only if they did really, really big and they know they can charge that much. And reliably get sales. So yeah. Lumina, awesome game. I do look forward to future releases. Huge credit that they have a free demo though. And I really do hope they maybe pick this up on sale. But I hope they end up releasing another game. I hope they did sell enough to keep their team moving forward. All right. Our next title is Lair of the Clockwork God, which is a fantastic name.
A fast-paced point-and-click adventure and an indie platformer in one. Join adventurer Ben and wannabe indie darling Dan in a race against time to stop all the apocalypses happening at the same time.
I've played a couple of their previous games. I'm a big fan of theirs. Size 5 games. So they did 2 point-and-click games called Ben There, Dan That, and Time Gentlemen Please, which is, you know, what you say when you're going for last orders. It's like, that's it. Time's over for you to get another pint in. So yeah, they're a British dev team, and it's I loved their point and click games. They were hilarious, brilliant British comedy, and I was so pleased that they were bringing out a third game involving these characters, but disappointed that it's like it got platforming elements in it, and I was kind of worried about that. It's like, do point and click people like platformers? I know some people do. Does it work? Does those two genres together work? I mean, so far you've got very positive to like 275 people, and even recent it's 100% positive.
For 64 positive reviews in a row that are positive. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, the developer is Dan Marshall, so I think it's a solo dev with maybe some no, so he did have, I think he had help from Ben Ward.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's a 2 dev? Okay, I don't see any more links, so a 2 dev team.
Yeah.
From Central England. It looks, I like their style, especially the backgrounds. I'm not really a fan of the character designs. They're a little wacky.
Yeah, the thing is that like the character designs are from like when they very very first did their games, which was back in, I think, before 2009. It's on Steam in 2009, but I think they did it way before. So yeah, that's why they look a bit crunchy and weird because it's like that
Yeah.
was
It's their
how
look
they
now,
originally did
so
it.
they can't just
Yeah.
like get rid of it.
Change it, gotcha. Because that's kind of the one thing on this that's kind of keeping me away. Like I like the humor on everything that I'm seeing, but just the art style has me just going, no, I'm good.
Just an interesting point. I didn't realize it, and we didn't pick it up for the list. But their other game, which was on the 21st of February, was Devil's Kiss, which involves them as well. And you get that game if you purchase this platformer game.
Oh.
Oh my god! And it involves the characters, and it has that visual novel dating sim aesthetic, and it looks it looks exactly like that. It's set in a school and everything. It's called Devil's Kiss. Yeah, it's so you can buy it separately, or you can get it free with Lair of the Clockwork God.
This reminds me of what is it? Lovers of Aether with let me see. That was their free dating sim.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like Battlers of Aether. What? I'm forgetting what this is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to Google this. Lovers of Aether. Anyhow, that's another game. Yes. Oh, Lovers of Aether. Yes. And then for their Ether Brawl, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lair of the Clockwork God by Dan Hatt. This is also $20. But here's an example.
15.
This is what a veteran dev has.
Yeah, this is £15.49. I think it's gonna be slightly different because it's got those point and click elements in there. So it's going to be there's a bit more to it. I don't know if I'd pick this up myself because it's got the platform elements in it, and so I'd get like frustrated quite quickly. If I ever ran out of things to play, probably I'd pick this up because I love the characters, I love the story that they've developed around it. So I kind of want to know what happens in the end, but maybe I'll just watch them and play it.
Yep. Our next title is Hayfever, which is what I had yesterday. Yeah, it's the time. It's the time of the year. But yes, Hayfever.
Help Thomas, the allergic mailman, gather all his lost letters in this challenging and unique 2D platformer. In Hayfever, the player takes control of Thomas, a young postman with a strong work ethic. There is just one tiny little issue. He suffers from terrible, and we mean terrible, allergies.
He's got a little red nose.
It's so cute. So cute. But it's this one is marked as precision platformer.
Yes.
So,
yeah, it very much looks like a precision platformer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is cute, though. But when he gets stung by bees and it gets all lumpy, oh my gosh. The poor guy.
There's some things that look really good with this game, and there's some things I think like look really a little too simplistic. I think some of the enemy designs and some of the boss looks like one of the boss fights or something. The enemy looks a little bit too simplistic, I think, compared to some of the other enemies in this.
Yeah, for example, what's on screen right now, I think this just looks way too simplistic. Yeah, I would definitely rather that it feels like they're building a world. I don't think things need to look this plain. Yeah. But it's a cute concept, and it looks like it does have very good precision platforming for those looking for a challenge. And then you have this map, which looks really detailed and interesting. So that's what's so jarring. You have a really kind of not very interesting environment designs, and then you have really rich environment designs, and that's just it's odd to me. It's oddly inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, there's 17 user reviews. It stands at 94% positive reviews. I am curious to how many. There's 140 challenging levels and 240 collectibles. So, so there's 4 worlds spanning each of the year's seasons. There might be a secret world as well. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the sneeze mechanic. That's like quite interesting as well. So there's definitely things there, but I think the look of it is a bit questionable. And it's at £11.39 as well. So yeah. And it's their first game on Steam.
Pixadome is a small development team with 5 developers: Jonas, Connie, Christopher, Pablo, and Philip. And this, from what I can tell from the website, this is their first title. Yep.
Yeah, it's not looking to like the polish, and it's one of those. I know I shouldn't always compare games to other games, but especially when I'm seeing precision platformers, double jump sort of mechanics. I know with the sneeze mechanic in this, my brain immediately goes to Celeste, and this game isn't anywhere near as polished as what Celeste is. And I'm checking, and this game is only $5 less than what Celeste is. And I mean, $14.99 for this, the amount of levels, I'm not going to say it's not a fair price. It might be better served at about maybe $9.99.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like anything under a tenner, it's like definitely that's
I think they'd easily make twice as many sales at that price.
Yeah.
I think so as well. I'm still seeing the 15 is fair. I think they'd be better off dropping it down, especially when you compare it to what I would arguably call the best game in the genre is only $5 more than what you are. And of course, I haven't played this to see how smooth or how good this one is, but it's been out since February 24th, and this is the first I'm really ever running into this. So I don't think we're nearly at the Celeste level, in all honesty, but so yeah, maybe drop the price a little bit. Otherwise, it looks cute, it looks adorable. There's, as you guys were saying, the little bit of a disconnect on some of the art, looking almost a little lazy, missing at times, but I don't know, it looks cute. I like there's an actual excuse for a double jump. Instead of like, you have a mystical power that allows you to jump one more time. This is you run through like spores and smog and peanuts, so you have to sneeze again. I love it. It's so simple, clever.
Yeah.
The mailman side of it, I could take or leave that, but
Yep.
And with that, from mailman to miner, we're on to mechanical miner.
All right.
Mechanic
miner with Justin Bundle. Put your mechanical skills to the test in a physics-based sandbox where ingenuity and creativity are the ultimate key to survival. Construct fantastical machines, gather resources, acquire new technologies to battle dangerous enemies, and use your imagination to shape your world.
Like, there's these giant worms in there, and it just reminds me of June. Yeah, this is like really an interesting looking game. But at the same time, it's obviously not my kind of thing, but yeah. What's your thoughts?
It kind of gives me Terraria vibes. Although with the whole like physics-based vehicle, that is very interesting. They get to build as you go. It's got a sort of a mix of different genres that it's putting together, and that's neat. I don't think it's personally up my alley. I feel like looking at this game is like, Yeah, I would not do well at this game. just looking at it. But still very creative. Is this multiplayer? Oh, it is single player. I would have imagined it being a multiplayer game.
Yeah, I think they missed a trick there, because I think people would have loved to play this with like their friends or something. You know, if you've got to go out and get items to build your truck or your vehicle. And it's like you can build like massive trucks, so you can like work together to build one.
Yeah. I think this is a cooperative game would be really good. This and it just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, there's people saying that the cons for it. Tutorials are lackluster, several game mechanics, functions and tools are poorly explained or not mentioned at all. Exploration is too linear, with most environments being corridor-like instead of more complex areas. The low level of interaction with the environment, complete inability to dig terrain or destroy anything can be disappointing. So yeah. And this was in early access, so I'm surprised they maybe didn't take some of these criticisms and maybe, you know, adjusted it or
Yep.
Yeah.
It is this has kind of been a premium indie week. We're still in the catch-up, but yeah, this is also $20.
Yeah, £15.49. It's at 123 people have reviewed it, and it stands at 71% positive.
Our next title is Creepy Tale.
Right. Come on, find out the dark story that befell the once calm and peaceful forest, turning it into a creepy place filled with evil. Perhaps it is you who will be able to solve all the secrets of the forest and save the peaceful creatures?
So this is from a small team, Decaf Studio out of Russia. And it does, I mean, kudos to the very direct titling, where it is just a creepy tale.
It looks very interesting. And this is a puzzle platformer, although I'm wondering, looking at this, I'm wondering where the platform elements are.
Well, I saw them jump on a mushroom, but I don't think it's like... I didn't see a whole lot of platforming.
Yeah, I think, you know, this is one of those adventure games where you just, you know, there are so many different elements to it. You can't put it as purely like a platformer or purely like a point and click game, or it's
these devs have made a lot of games. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It looks very interesting, but and I'm curious about the actual tale of it. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Tom?
In all honesty, it's got that dark foreboding. Now it's the user-defined tag that I'm running into the puzzle platformer. On first glance, I thought it was more of a point-and-click style game, not so much a platformer, even though you're probably using like your A and D forward and back, probably a simple space to jump, so technically a platformer. The art style serves it well, especially with the name of Creepy Tale. The little demon beast things I'm seeing at times are creepy. This isn't one that really sits in my wheelhouse too well, so it's not one that I'm gonna look at picking up at all. But when I see that it's $4.99, 20% off right now for $3.99, if it looks anything interesting at all to someone, it wouldn't be a bad pickup.
Yeah, it's like you said, 20% off, £3.19, and obviously it's received quite a lot of good praise. It stands at 93% positive, and 208
awesome.
people have reviewed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so reading here, the cons are at approximately 2 hours long. It left me wanting more. The developers behind Creepy Tale have extreme potential, and I hope to see more release from Decaf Studios in the future to fill this void. That's good. That's not much of a con, really. I think they've priced it very well, because as it's 2 hours long. So macabre hand-drawn illustrations with a quirky, almost cute twist, logical answers to puzzles, but be warned, you will die a lot. For the point-and-click crowd, that is a good thing, especially if it's like maybe it's a bit hilarious, melancholic atmosphere and eerie sound effects, varied gameplay, hide, run, solve puzzles, and most importantly, don't get caught. So it's almost like there's a bit of a stealth thing going on, I feel, and there are point and click elements to it. Like there is like you bring up like a wheel of interaction for look, grab, examine and interact. So and run. So yeah, I feel like maybe this would interest me, but I'm not keen on like those kind of stealth elements. But yeah, I'm kind of curious about it. I've put it on my wish list to maybe have a look again, maybe at a later time.
I feel like this might be a good Halloween stream. Yeah.
It's definitely 2 hours, and it's like really well priced. Yeah.
This is a significant departure from their normal art style, looking at their previous games. So they made on Steam, they have Strike Force Kitty, Make War, and the I Love Money show. But they also, on Android and iOS, they have other games like Nordic Kingdom, Dangerous Adventure, more Strike Kitty Force games. So they've been developing. It looks like they started on sort of the more Congregate and then environment, and then moved to the Apple iOS. And now this seems to be a big departure from their previous designs, which are all kind of like bright and colorful and not super serious. And here they're taking a new bent in it. And it's cool that they've done so excellently. So yeah, I definitely think there will be more games coming out of Decaf Studio, considering their history. Alrighty. Our next title is The Crimson Diamond, Chapter 1.
Follow amateur geologist and reluctant detective Nancy Maple to the fictional ghost town of Crimson, Ontario, to investigate the discovery of a massive diamond in this retro-inspired EGA text parser mystery adventure.
So this is based on the Colonel's Bequest. It's taken inspiration from that, and I know a lot of people in the point and click community were really excited about this game coming out. There is a free demo as well, so I'm wondering, playing the demo and then playing this.
I think that's what this is, because this is free to play.
Chapter
1's free to play, and then there's another demo that's free.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so it's just like, how much is the demo? Not how like monetarily, but how long is the demo? And how long is this? I'm really curious, because it doesn't look like there's, at least in the reviews, there's only 11 people that have reviewed it, although it sounds like 100% positive. But I would have thought, considering how much buzz was around this game, I'm surprised not as many people have picked this up.
I think a lot of people may be holding off for more, like, until more chapters get released.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely my story for sure. I'm surprised they've brought it out in chapters and not just one game, because the Colonel's Bequest is like, you have to do things at certain times, and you have to kind of make notes about everybody, and you have to kind of, and at the end of the game, if you don't guess the right person who's guilty, it kind of doesn't end very well. It doesn't end terribly, but it doesn't end like as good as you would want it to end, sort of thing. In the other game that not this person has done, but the game that it's based on, if you don't get the right person who committed the crimes, you get murdered yourself in the night. So yeah, this is so if it's like working on the same thing, yeah, you would really need to bring out the whole game at once, I feel.
The developer of this is Julia Minamata. She is a solo dev. She does game design, programming, art, and writing. However, music was done by Dan Polakar.
I did meet her, actually.
Oh, you did?
Oh.
I did, yeah, because she was at was it? Yeah, she was at Adventure X like last year.
Okay.
So it was we spoke for a bit, and I said, I'm really looking forward to for the game to come out, and Ask Alice showed the demo and everything. And she says, "Oh yeah, I know Ask Alice because we're both Canadian and everything, so we get to talk a lot." And it was like, "Oh, that's wonderful." But yeah, she was super nice. I said, I'm not going to play the game right now. I'm not going to play the demo. I want to wait until it comes out so I can have like a full experience of it. I don't want anything spoiled for me. And she's like, "Okay, cool." But yeah, she's super nice. And actually, talking about Adventure X, that has been cancelled for this year completely. Even though they normally hold it in November, because at any point they said, the government can turn around and say, "No, we're shutting down again," or something. And they said they don't want to risk it. They are going to do like a game jam instead. So
yeah, I mean, it's a year of cancellation. Comic-Con in their 50-year history for the first time has canceled this year, and so has, when the Olympics delays for the only time it's ever done in history, that like, probably just about every event's going to be shut down, sadly enough.
Oh, I thought like last time Japan was supposed to hold it, it got like cancelled as well.
Well, there's a difference between canceled and like this one's being just like rescheduled. So yeah. So there has been canceled in the past due to wars or political situations.
That's right. Yeah.
As far as actually just like delaying, like usually when it's planned, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it is definitely an interesting situation there. But yeah, really looking forward to the future of the Crimson Diamond game, and hopefully, do you think Chapter 2 is probably going to be charged for? I wonder if Chapter 1's like the free first chapter or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I think like Chapter 2 will be like they'll charge for it.
Yeah, and what I'm running into too is on their free demo that's been out since 2019. And it didn't have a publisher attached to it. It still had Julia as the dev, but then that Chapter 1 release of I would still almost assume a demo because there's a link to the full game on it. It now has her as the publisher, so I don't know. There's something just odd on how this has been released, and I'm just hopeful there was nothing abandoned going on, because seeing a 2019 demo that I'm wondering if it's the same thing just has me questioning a few things.
I think it's like because she had the demos that she was showing at like conventions and everything, and people were like, because of the genre that it is, it's one of those things you have to think about how you're going to solve this puzzle. It's text-based, you have to type it. So it's one of those things you have to sit and think about and to play through it. And people were like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to play it right now. I feel in the mood. I have to sit and I have to think about it and I have to play it." So they put that demo that they showed at conventions on Steam so people could
to grab it that way.
Play it through. So
that makes sense.
It's still happening. And I think people are just going to wait till for the full version to come out.
Yeah.
And with that is all of our catch-up games with the Crimson Diamond. Now we are into this week's releases. The first scene started on Monday, April 13th. We have Pirates Outlaws. That's I thought it was Pirate Outlaws, but it's Pirates Outlaws.
Pirates Outlaws. Pirates Outlaws is an easy-to-play roguelike card game. Build your deck and combos to become a reputed pirate. Yar, I can read. But they also say Pirates Outlaws, so it's not just me.
Yeah, this is so weird. It's just such a weird title. Pirate. It should be Pirate Outlaws, not Pirates Outlaw. Oh dear. Oh.
So Fabled Game, the studio, is located in Shenzhen, China. So that may be why it has a little bit of an odd title. Because initially I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a foreign dev, and when they make the noun plural, they also make the adjective plural. But you don't do that in Chinese, so I just think it's maybe just the title they chose. Okay.
They chose poorly.
It looks great though. I like the artistic style. I'm trying to think. This looks like something, and it's on the tip of my tongue.
It looks like that kind of RTS game, Braveland.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There's a few of the card, and I know typically on like these roguelike card games, I'm always critical when it comes to the card art. And for the most part, I actually really like the card art. There is very simple, easy to read iconography, numbers as well, and then actual cool, unique art on everything. There's just a few that don't make a whole lot of sense to me, where like there's a card where you see a punch and it's a good sized fist, and then a couple cards over, here's this tiny little wooden shield. So it's like, wait, why is the fist bigger than the shield? Like, am I using this tiny thing to block everything? Will I get lucky today and block what's coming my way? Like, it's just a little bit of like a size perspective issue. That just bothers me a little bit. Almost continuity in a weird way.
Yeah, there really should be an even amount of like blank space on every card. So when you have that where you just have so much more blank space on one card than another, it looks like a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at 83% positive with 116 reviews. And it's 25% off right now at $11.61. It's I do like the look of it, because as I said, it looks like Braveland in that sort of art. Obviously, but it's not. I've never played one of these kind of card game RPGs. I'm wondering if there is going to be something that's going to bring me into the genre to give it to have a try or something.
I assume there probably is a point-and-click card adventure game that's being in development right now.
And it's got mouses in it.
Yes. Just it would be hook, line, and sinker. That's, to be fair, that's normally how I get into new genres. Is like something that's already on the cusp of something I'm into, but pushes it into a different genre, and that pulls me into a new set of experiences. Yeah.
It says there's more than 500 cards to collect, 150 relics to discover from 6 varied chapters. It seems quite substantial.
Yeah.
And it looks like this was brought over from mobile originally as well. Because there's a few that are saying the progression's a little rough at times, because it's like, mobile game progression is always very rough. But it looks like I've had a few reviews I've been running into where they're saying they've removed like a few of the IAP madness in a premium Steam version. So I don't know. There's about a 50-50 on, they did well removing this, but this is still an issue.
Right, I see.
Yeah, porting from mobile games has been somewhat unreliable. Another Chinese game that I did not include in the release this week was because so here's the game Godot Fight on the screen right now. I did not include this because, as you'll notice, the The UI for mobile is still on the screen even when you're playing on PC. Which is painful because it looks like a really beautiful brawler, but there's no way I can include it as the official part of the release list. And it's like, you didn't do that.
Completely.
I looked in the forums and Google translated the Chinese discussion, and it was just like, and all of them were like, why is the UI still on my PC screen?
Yeah. This is it. If you're going to port something, do it properly. Don't, leave it like that. Oh, well, hello, Akia. You were looking at this game. What were your thoughts on it? I'm quite curious. As someone who also plays these card roguelites. Yeah, I think I'm wondering. Do you guys think it's reasonably priced or for these kind of games?
So at regular price it's $19.99, which already has me going, I wouldn't pick this up at regular price. I even wait, even though Slay the Spire is great, I waited for a sale on that game, and that normally sits at it normally sits $24.99, and that's a darn good game. A very, very well loved. Most people now refer to Slay the Spire, and when it comes to roguelike card games,
it's a genre definer. So
So another case of regular price, it's $5 down. It's on sale. If the current sale price of the $14.99, if that would have been base price, I still probably would have waited for a sale to pick it up, but I think it would have been a fair intro price.
Yeah. Okay, says, I was a bit afraid it wasn't different enough from the last few I played. Almost same game, different skin feel. It's like, that's the problem. People are just copycatting it rather than bring something new to the table.
Yeah, you really have to provide additional game rule mechanics, which it does seem it is difficult to design a balanced card game. But at the same time, there are 100 different varieties of solitaire, and they each just kind of use different table rules, different ways that you solve the puzzle, etc. And it's just finding the way that works for here. All right. Tuesday, April 14th, we have Saturn Quest: Shadow of Planetus.
Saturn Quest: Shadow of Planetus is a shameless 8-bit style clone of Shadow of the Colossus. You are a captain navigator, fight the evil minions of Planetus, save Saturn, save galaxy.
Shadow of the Colossus. Wow,
congratulations on the glottal stops. I just got something stuck in my throat. So they claiming that this is an 8-bit style clone of Shadow of the Colossus. That is a bold claim, my sir.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus is a classic, unarguably is a classic. And I'm just like, I have to give, that is some self-confidence this dev has. Just straight up comparing their game, Shadow of the Colossus. That said, it really does. There's some excellent pixel art going on here.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just like, the audacity. This game better be great.
Welcome to the new segment of the show called Dewey's Rage Corner.
I think it looks interesting, but the enemies that you fight, interesting. The character, cute. Things that you kind of walk on, a lot of the maps, sometimes are a bit lackluster.
Yeah, I can see some of that. It definitely, there's a lot of creativity going on here, but yeah, sometimes it's a little bland. Because I don't think much of the game looks like this, where this lady with the 3 eyes and such. much of the game does not look like that, which is something to consider. 8-bit style clone of Shadow Claws. That's like saying, we're like the anime version of Schindler's List. Like you better really be able to show me like that you can like hit that level.
Someone says, this is Donley. This game desperately needed multiple playtesters before release. There's a lot of charm here, and I genuinely really like the first hour and a half or so. But the randomized difficulty spike is unreasonable. The back half of the game that keeps testing this is the final battle, even though it never is a cluster beep of projectiles that have no telegraphing or tell. Not to mention they're not patternized, so it's not like you can trial and error, learn how to tackle each section. I eventually gave up because it just became a total waste of my time. Wanted to enjoy this and generally did for a little while, but just couldn't anymore. It's not fun brute forcing your way through random projectiles, just hoping that maybe this is the time you get lucky and don't get hit. Oof, that's rough. I feel that's how games should be. Like, they should have a pattern to it, and you just have to get in the rhythm of the game to be able to overcome what challenges they've put up for you. Especially with boss fights. What are your thoughts?
I don't want to crap on this game very much because it does have a lot of visual talent going on here, and there's clearly some chops. But yeah, if you're gonna do a bullet hell, there needs to be some sort of way that the person can figure out the fight. Like, what is the solution? And laying that down to RNG, if that's true, that it was laid down to RNG, and this person just doesn't have poor pattern recognition. Throwing shade again. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Then that is a problem. I do wish it would get more reviews. It's not offensively priced. It's $2.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's £2 and 9p here. So yeah, and there are 3 reviews. So I'm surprised considering how well it's been put together. It seems.
Yeah, $2.99. They're so bold with their claim, I'm like almost tempted to put it on my wish list.
How dare you say that? Let me give you $3 and prove you wrong.
It's just a display of confidence, and then like them to also have it at $2.99, which is a very realistic way to have. Which I think is their first game. No, it's their second game. They also made D1896, which also did not get a lot of reviews.
That's a catchy title right there.
It's a very interesting looking black and white game.
Some devs get a little bit too cerebral, and I wonder if that's this person. But yeah, Saturn. It's by Arkhouse Telegraph and published by Arkhouse Telegnosis. Which again, are you just being cerebral with me? I don't know. The character's cute though. So yeah, Saturn Quest, Shadow of the Planetus. It's not bad.
I'm sorry, you mean Planetus?
Yeah. All right. Tuesday, April 14th, we have Receiver 2.
Receiver 2, the America Simulator. Simulates every internal part of each firearm based on manufacturer schematics and gunsmithing resources. Learn exactly how each sidearm works, including how to load and unload them, clear malfunctions, and operate their safety features.
So there's all the moving parts. I know someone who plays several games. Like Gun Simulator is actually an entire genre. I did not know this like a year ago, but I do now that it is like an entire genre. And so they have all these controls like, no, you have to click this and then this and then this and then this in order to do this. It's just like, wow, you like, you call it, and it's funny because a lot of the people I know who play these games like don't like Call of Duty because they're like, no, it's not realistic.
I mean, I didn't know there was like a real realistic like gun simulator. That's why when I saw this, I was like, oh wow, that sounds really interesting, because it's normally it's just like whatever, load it, whatever, shoot. But to put that kind of detail into this, obviously there's got to be a certain kind of pace to the game, because it's not really quick when you're loading a game always. So loading a gun always. So it's I'm be interested to see how they've maybe slowed down the enemies, or they've put them, it's different, so you're able to reload and things like that.
I do think that interesting that the enemies here, so you have targets, but then you also have like turrets and drones. So I think it's more like you're running through a course. But yeah, that is interesting that you have to like it gamifies the situation of like fiddling for each bullet and putting it in. But yeah, there are folks. I'll have to ask Ryan if this game actually does. I know someone who is an enthusiast of these types of games, whether it actually does do the proper, whether it is actually doing, because he knows some really good physics simulators like this. But anyhow.
So I'm curious, because I was going to say Akio has played this, and played it and completed. Oh, you completed it!
Oh,
wow!
No.
So it says you play 0.3 hours of it. We played Receiver, and you said you bought Receiver 2. How was Receiver 2? Was it? Did you enjoy it? What made you put it down? If it wasn't your cup of tea, or if Receiver was like instantly gratifying, and because of that you brought the second one as well. I'll just say it's 10% off right now at £13.94. I'm seeing it's at very positive right now at 82%. So
these folks made Overgrowth. Wolfire Games. They also made Overgrowth, which is the bunny murder simulator.
Oh.
We talked about this game.
Yeah. That's so weird. So weird.
Same developer. Interesting. Very interesting. So Wolfire Games.
It says it's much the same. The gunplay is fun, just like the original. It turns into a bit of an object hunt as you need cassettes to complete the levels, so you can shoot everything, but then spend 20 minutes lost finding cassettes. So I'm putting here that one of the cons, it's like it was only pistols. Forced exposition, unsatisfactory climax, minimal additions to the opposing force, keybinds aren't fully customizable, and have frustrating bugs. I also play a lot of Ligara, and have waited 15 years for Overgrowth to be done enough.
Well, on their website, they claim that they have completed work on Overgrowth and are working on a new secret project. So either it's going to be Overgrowth 2 if they never got to the spot where they wanted to on that, or it's going to be just a new game. But they're not going to be doing anything more with Overgrowth, at least according to their website.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yep.
It'll be called Growth Over.
Growth Over. Oh, that's such a dumb pun.
This pretty much feels like a HD remake of Receiver 1, as far as I can tell. Receiver 1 was kind of just a tech demo. No, the 24 hours made game that got legs. Oh, okay. Interesting.
So it seems to be an improvement on their previous title. That's good. All right. Wednesday, April 5th. Oh, and buy Receiver 2 is $17.99 US at 10% off, originally $19.99. Alrighty. Wednesday, April 15th, we have Alchemy Story from Eloise Laroche.
Discover a world of magic, cute creatures, and adventure in Alchemy Story. Casual farming simulation game. Grow your garden, brew potions, care for your pets, and meet new friends.
Yep. So Eloise has put out a few other games, which I think are mostly mini games, and this is like the big project she's been working on a very long time. So it is finally out.
Didn't we talk about Bunny Park?
We did.
Yeah.
We did talk about Bunny Park.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said the same thing about the Q characters. The faces just look a bit weird to me. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. This is like those kind of farming, Animal Crossing kind of. It's not Animal Crossing, but farming type games like Stardew Valley. But is not enough depth in it to sort of get me excited about picking it up.
On
yeah.
On her Twitter, she describes that lift the witch's curse and befriend the villagers, grow a garden and care for your cute animals, mine ores, cut down trees, and fish, and learn alchemy and brew potions. But yeah, so that seems to be the main focus. Also, broom riding is apparently a thing. But yeah.
See, the description, like what you've said from Twitter, that does, it does make me think, it probably would be something I would enjoy.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I feel like for me, there needs to be like a story in there for someone who played like Harvest Moon and Rune Factory and was big fans of those. There needs to be something else. There needs to be a really decent like story going through it.
Yeah, because like the art style and everything is really adorable. Some of the animations I've been watching in this are a little just bleh.
Yeah.
But it's like the faces of the people. Yeah, I'm totally with Rody. But when it comes to like the critters and everything, like I've got the little the shop owl or the male owl. I don't exactly know what he is. But I'm sitting there like, you're so cute. Oh my god, look at the little face. But and I like, as I was saying earlier, I've been playing Animal Crossing a lot. With the Stardew Valley, I've played a lot of like Harvest Moon back in the day, and I don't have an urge to jump into this game. And I don't know if it's just because of like the animations where I'm like, well, if that's how that works, I wonder how everything else is gonna look and feel to it. I like adorable characters, but that only takes me half the way there.
Yeah, I think so. With Animal Crossing, there's a thing about the progression of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's about the progression, but it's also about the interactions that you have with the animals, and you're trying to build up friendships and like seeing all the quirky aspects of which revealed themselves slowly to you over time and through more interactions and the more you complete. So that's really nice. Now, Stardew Valley is about again, you're completing these tasks, and then there's this sort of story with the villagers that you're uncovering over time, and it's there's so much more to it. Whereas someone said here, says, unfortunately the gameplay is super weak. It's obvious they were going for a Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing style of gameplay, but it's super stripped down and all of the elements are rudimentary at best. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's a much more, perhaps it's more like it's more of a game that's like child's first Harvest Moon type game kind of thing.
Yeah. And also for the price as well, it's a bit annoying, because considering that we had the Rabbit game at the beginning of the year, and it's only been, it's not been long since that was released, only a few months, and it's at £11.99 with 20% off. At full price, it's $14.99. That's still, that's
$15.99 US and $19.99 at full price.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah.
Still, you can get a lot of hours out of this if if this is kind of game that you do want to try. 63 people have played it, and it's 85% positive. But I think I need a bit more. I might follow this game. I'll see. If I pick this up. Maybe if it was like on a wish list, on like if it was cheap, if it got really cheap, maybe I'd pick this up.
I think the character animations really need work. That's like the number one most glaring thing that I think would push people away. But kudos to the environment art and the UI.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Our next title is STATIONflow.
It's a game about controlling the flow of thousands of passengers by building and managing an efficient underground train station.
This is like a skyscraper simulator, kind of, eh? Maybe?
Yeah, like city skylines and that sort of genre. You're controlling one aspect of like transport, which is like very quite interesting. I'm someone who uses the tube in London myself. It intrigues me, and I do like transport games. But you're managing the crowd, you're managing the platforms, everything. It's because especially with like I think it was SimCity 4. You could put a tube line in and everything.
Yeah, I think that was 4.
But it never really worked. It never really worked out. And it wasn't really like an efficient way to use it unless you got like a mega city or something. So yeah, it's I think this is quite interesting.
Yeah. That all said, it feels like it's one aspect of a bigger city building game. Now that said, a little unfair, because city building games as it is can be stupid complex. So it can be a little bit beyond a lot of solo devs, but I mean some smaller developers, but some smaller developers have done it. So it just just being the tube, just being a game about running a tube, it's I don't know. I suppose it's like Mall Simulator, I guess, where it is just like one aspect of a city. But
yeah. It's as Akio said, it's like you can lose hours trying to get efficient transport and railway systems. Yeah, and when you build your city and you see all these traffic jams and everything, and you're just trying to work out how you can like fix that problem, and it can take you're right, take absolutely hours. A guy entire YouTube channel is built on fixing people's city skyline games and get congestion down. I may have watched a lot of that channel.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's one of those. I'm not a big fan of how this game looks. In all honesty, it's one of those. If I was probably going a simulation of any sort, I'd probably be sitting more City Skylines, SimCity, over this one. If I wanted to do more congestion, get people moving around, I would probably go for the more casual-ish quick-fire game that is Mini Metro.
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Was this looks like just a little bit of a more complicated version of Mini Metro, but this doesn't hit. It's one of those. I was like, all right, if I wanted to play a Mini Metro plus a little bit extra, I don't think I would jump to this. I would just boot up City Skylines, especially when this has a price point of $17.99. No, this doesn't. I cannot justify $18 down for this game.
Yeah, it's £11.89 with 15% off. We've struggled like a lot with the prices of these games this week. I feel people don't want to price things correctly. You know, they're trying to get a bit more with everyone being stuck at home, and maybe nothing to do. So it's like, yeah, of course they're going to pay it, maybe. But saying that, you know, there are 162 reviews with 93% of them positive. So this obviously is scratching an itch for somebody.
So, DMM Games is also the development of the Mono dating sim. So I was just like, oh, that's an interesting twist. So, okay. But yeah, I think if I'm going to get into running a metro line, though, sort of simulation, it needs to be more visually appealing than this. Because why wouldn't I just play Roller Coaster Tycoon or Parkitect?
No, completely.
Yeah, because you can make a monorail in Parkitect, and I've made a monorail in Roller Coaster Tycoon that was very efficient. So, all right, but yeah, that is STATIONflow.
And hello, Bodoc.
Hello.
Hi, buddy.
Thursday, April 16th, we have our next title, which is Fort Triumph.
A strategy game combining the turn-based combat of XCOM with the world exploration of build towns, collect artifacts, improve your heroes, and influence your tactical surroundings using physics.
Again, bold claim, XCOM. I'll forgive that one a little more, because XCOM is sort of a... it's more of a genre definer, I would say. And this at least is is much closer to the genre of XCOM, where it is like it is an actual like strategy.
Well, and they were using the description of this one of the turn-based combat, and then using XCOM as the descriptor instead of saying we are an 8-bit clone of Shadow of Colossus.
Yeah.
Oh my word, I'm still on that. I'm gonna be ranting about that to friends.
Oh,
like, my word. Anyhow, this looks. I like the style. It is really. That said, it is really generic cartoony fantasy. Like you could show me this style, and I would not be able to tell you what game it was, because I would be like, oh, was that this game or that game or this game or this other game? Because the style isn't very unique.
There's nothing that makes it stand out from a lot of these other art style of games. No, you're completely right. Yeah.
It's not bad art, but it's just it's not particularly unique art.
Yeah, and it's I have to say another game that is maybe a bit of a price point contention. It's £19.49. And you're just like
$24.99 US.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the not recommended things. It's like extremely limited classes and nonsensical attempt at story. It takes all the bad RNG things about XCOM without any of the extra polish or depth. Wait for a sale. I wouldn't pay more than $10 for this game.
Ooh, savage. This is another reason why if you're going to say that your game is like this other game, or is related to this other game, you are inviting critics to compare the two. You are inviting players to compare the two. And if you're not confident that it can like match up, and that people who've played this other game are gonna savage you or not, you gotta be careful about using those comparisons.
Yeah, because XCOM, Enemy Unknown, not XCOM 2, is $29.99, and this game is out at a price point of $24.99. Another $5 difference.
Yeah, a few quid cheaper, and it's just like, no, I might as well just get real XCOM.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh dear, but saying that, you know, there's 165 reviews right now, and 82% of them are positive.
Yes. So it seems it's been generally well received.
Yeah.
And regarding that one person's criticism about the RNG of XCOM, it's like, you can be like point blank in XCOM and have a 60% chance of hitting. It's stupid.
Yeah.
So XCOM has its flaws. Just saying,
Yeah.
it does. All right.
But yeah, seeing anything between obviously people who didn't like it didn't put as much hours into it, but like 3 to 20 hours to 30 hours. So yeah, you're gonna get a long play time out of this, pretty much.
Yeah. Alrighty. Our next title is Cryogear by PolarityFlow.
This is normally when I use the words, but for some reason I can't
Steam's
still
being
cry.
slow today. It really is.
Yep, it's Steam. Yep,
Yeah.
It's
not
not
your
me.
misspelling.
It's not me not spelling cryo right at all. That. Thanks, Dewey. Cryogear is it. And then I just outed myself. I'm a smart boy. What can I tell you? Hey, Cryogear is a unique Metroidvania-styled pixel art platformer set in an open sci-fi world and driven by rewarded exploration. Control the reprogrammed clone G34R as he discovers the world, learns new abilities, and unveils the mystery of the Emperor AI.
Neon soaked, cyberpunk, Metroidvania.
Ticking all the boxes.
It's got that. I think and I'm not gonna be too mad about this because the glow is not extreme. The glow stuff is not extreme.
It's quite muted. Actually.
There is actually, I think they do apply a screen filter to give like that effect. Yeah, I think they do that for the ambiance, which I roll my eyes at. I'm not a particular fan of when people use screen filters for their games. If they have a way to turn it off, I might forgive you. Yeah.
Saying that, I don't really like the look of this. The pixel art, really. I think it's some of the backgrounds art is really nice, but the foreground,
it's
I don't think
lackluster.
It's
it's not as detailed, and I think that's a real shame.
The animations are really simplistic, and Godlessly was mentioning the biggest problem. I don't think the automation is terrible. I mean, of course, we have it on the list. If the animations were super crunchy, they wouldn't be here. But it's I can think of other Metroidvanias I would check out before this one.
I'm liking some of the mechanics that I'm seeing. Like I saw you had like an ice gun, you're freezing fire to jump onto it. It looks like the gameplay mechanic side of life plays well.
Yeah.
It's just smooth. It's just on the visual side, not so much. And it's another case, and I know we're hitting home on this a lot today, and we could probably do one entire podcast just devoted to talking about pricing your darn indie game. But it's $17.99 for something that looks like I could make this in MS Paint.
And that's the annoying thing, because even today we've seen like really affordable games. So but most of them have been kind of priced oddly high this week. But $17.99.
It's $14.99 here. And hello, Buffoon Batman. Yes, I hope you can see my makeup. See?
Yes, take it all in.
Move by this explosion of color. But you're right, Tom. It's maybe looks like perhaps their first game or something, and I don't think it's a competitive price point. They could have made it a bit cheaper, or put it at a bit cheaper price, and maybe you would have got a bit more traction with the game.
Yep. Again, and this one has one user review, and I think that's kind of the result. I think if they had put it much lower, there would be tons of people who would have checked this out. Although
there's 3 people who've reviewed it.
Yeah, the review count up top is never correct.
No, exactly. It's anything between. Well, it was in like 10 hours 5 hours. So yeah, you're gonna. It depends. I think depends on how much you put on this.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Oh, and they're based out of Zurich, Switzerland. So a Swiss game this week. Alrighty. Our next title is A Fold Apart. There we go.
In a world of folding paper, there are two sides to every story. I
I've
wish
seen
they
this-
had a little more there.
Yes, no, same. I think I've seen this pop up a lot on a lot of indie YouTube reviews and everything, and games to look for, and I think they've been to some conventions as well. It's about, I think they've had to have like a long distance relationship or something, and so you're trying to make them come together using folding mechanics. The screen like folds, you've got to get it sort of. So yeah, it's interesting. It looks very interesting.
I'm
It
waiting
looks
to.
like-
I'm
Sorry.
waiting to see how long it takes Dewey to talk about the glow in this game.
Yeah, there is some glow. I think though, because the environment itself is brighter, it's not as offensive. But yeah, the glow, they could have toned that down and it would look a lot better. It's cute. The development team, there are 4 developers: Mark, Steven, Stephanie, and David. And I think this is their first game, looking at it. Yeah, I do believe this is their first game. Yeah, Lightning Rod Games. They specialize in family-friendly games. That's their
It looks super adorable. Like I'm in love with the art style of this. The color palettes and everything. The actual gameplay itself, it's not something I'm probably going to end up picking up myself, but it's very visually pleasing. It looks really cute with a very sweet looking love story on top of it. Well, I have another case of here's the price point.
It's $19.99, and I kind of set my teeth on edge as soon as I saw that.
Yeah, £50.49, and this is it's like, it looks like a very interesting story, and it's something that I would, might pick up later down the line. That because I like puzzlers and everything, and it looks like there are sort of like very different kind of puzzles to solve. It doesn't seem like it gets repetitive or anything. So yeah, it looks like something I might be interested in. So maybe sometime down the line I might pick this up.
Ooh.
Make it work this fall. That was really sweet. So this fall. I guess they were originally going to release it in the fall, but they ended up releasing it in April. That happens.
Unless they're Australian?
Or no, I look in Toronto. They may have released it on a different platform. But I am looking on the website. Anyhow, that mystery can be solved later. Yeah, it looks sweet. I guess folks are feeling particularly romantic right now because our next title is Later Daters.
Later Daters. Welcome to ye oldie, your new retirement paradise. Date as an octogenarian and find somebody to love, or just get your kicks in while the getting is good. What type of game did you guys pick? Remember, if the chairs are rocking, don't come knocking. Part 1 out now.
Oh my
what
God,
did you pick?
I saw this game and I instantly thought of Dream Daddy, and it seems to be that kind of like, sort of. There is a dating sim, but it's always kind of family friendly. It's I like the look of this because even though it's like a kind of like those visual novel kind of dating sims, there's like a lot of different things going on. It looks visually appealing. I like that they've got a lot of story in there, and it's made from a section of society we don't explore a lot. I just although the only problem I have with it that it is episodic, and the reason they've given that it's episodic is because the people that have written for this are usually like TV writers. So it's like a it's done like a TV series. And although it says part 1 is out now, it says in the description, it says season 1, episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3. So is that part 1, or is part 1 season 1, episode 1? I'm curious as to what we're actually getting.
Yeah, indeed.
But it's about over an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending, I think, if you replay as a different character or replay if you're pursuing somebody else.
Gameplay features: play as a sexy senior, customize your look, name, romance history, and gender, have some intimate adventures that deal with mortality, sexy, vulnerability, and getting some action.
Woo-hoo!
Wow. Just wow.
You know, I feel like this is where like I would jump in with a lot of jokes right now, but I'm trying to hold back.
We're talking about our elders. Be respectful.
So those people that were clamoring for who's that Madame Le Peur? What was her name?
Madame Le Peur.
Remember the point and click game where you had everybody clamoring for that lady?
Oh, what was that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not point and click game, but hidden object game. But yeah, Patty Le Peur or something like that. Yeah. And she looked like an elderly lady.
Yes.
And it's
everybody wants a piece of Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Like, elderly people find love too, so I think it's kind of a neat new demographic to explore in a sort of like dating sim type thing. I do kind of wonder what's the demographic that's going to be playing this game.
I think you're going to get a lot of the folks like what Rody said. You had like the Dream Daddy crowd too, where on the outside it didn't seem like it's like who is this marketed for, and a lot of people picked it up and loved that game. So I think this is going to maybe play off the success of Dream Daddy. Is kind of my guess.
Although it hasn't gotten, like I hadn't heard of this at all till I was like going through the list. It's not been picked up anywhere else, I don't think, on the indie space. So I'd be curious to play this myself, especially if this is written by like sort of people who normally write TV scripts. I'm curious to see how that sort of plays here, because you have to kind of like remember you can't make visual novels and dating sims too wordy, because they can't get bogged down too much.
Yeah,
there has to be like some gameplay as well, and people don't. Although it's a visual novels, people don't want like actual like novels to read through when you're playing through the medium of
because the picture is supposed to be worth 1,000 words kind of thing. Exactly. So you should only just go light in the dialogue.
and you can have a companion. You can have a pet companion as well, either a dog or a cat, and they're super adorable. Oh,
or a robot. There's also like a pet robot. Yeah. I do think it's I don't know. I think it's neat that dating sims, even though it's not really my genre, but it's they've kind of come back. Also, I think it was like first Dream Daddy and then a few other games that have suddenly made like the somewhat overrated redheaded bearded guy, like everyone's like, yes, date him. Like I feel like they've probably had a lot of benefit from this.
Yeah, I Love You, Colonel Sanders was another good one too.
Oh yes,
yeah.
This is 18% off right now, and it's £4.74. I think that's, for part 1, we're probably looking at, as I said, like 4 hours. If you're playing, if you're interacting with all of the people you can date, so I think you can get a lot of mileage out of this. So I think that's quite reasonably priced.
I will be curious. Yeah, I'll be curious if they do a bundle for all of it when it comes out. If all of them are going to be individually priced to the $8.99, because or $7.99. It's $6.55 on an 18% sale right now. But I'm mostly curious because it's one of those, like, anytime I see episodic or chapter, it's like, I might as well wait for them all to come out because I'm probably going to get it cheaper, and then I get it all right there anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
They also developed the game Long Story back in 2017. So, alrighty, that was
Later daters.
Now we're on to our last day, but still 2 more games. We have first Merchant of the Skies.
Become the captain of a flying ship, sell items, gather resources, and build your own trade company in the clouds.
So, let me see. I gotta find it. The developers of this game have the cutest profile picture on Twitter. But yeah, so it's just 2 devs, two devs on this team, and they've done a really fascinating work on the art and the music. Elena Nazaire and Comrade Gremlin.
Ooh, I'm seeing a little bit of the, like, customization, like, build your own, like, mansion, and it wasn't just like, here's a pre-generated building. It's like, no, you can actually put in the windows. You can like, they gave you, like, all the assets and stuff that you can use over on the side to make your own buildings. I'm a very big fan of the art style in this game. It's very kind of mini simplistic, like Godless Weeb said. But, like, when you see stuff like the flying turtle come around and the big koi, I'm a huge fan of how they look. But the thing that keeps taking me out of this game, that I'm just like, wow, that's boring, is the big and I want to think it's like the big overworld map for traveling. It's just like, well, we've got the animation of going back and forth here, and it's like, oh, that's just kind of boring.
So I've played this. So I've put in 8 hours, over 8 hours of it. So I'm obsessed with this game. I've enjoyed it immensely, but I can definitely see, like, what sort of the problems are with it. So the music, although is very good, it doesn't change up enough. So if I'm playing a game that requires me to play for a very long time, I'm going to need quite a few change-ups, and it will happen, like, when you go to certain islands or this, and when you go to main cities, but not always. And because there's no, like, seasonal changes, there isn't changes in music that way. So you're getting the same, like, you're in the main map most of the time, and you'll get that music all the time. So there's no change in that music there. So that is starting to grate on me. And I wish they did something like, I don't want to say like Stardew Valley, where the music changes when the seasons change, because once the season goes back to, like, you start off in spring and then you go back to spring, it's like, oh, this is nice again. It's like, it's different. It's different. So I think they need to do something like that. The gameplay itself, when you start off, there's not a lot of tutorial, but that's not always a problem, because it's very simple. You buy low from the shops, sell high from other shops, and this is really nice sort of, like, exploring around the map. When you see there's this story of discovery that goes through it. Like, there was this kind of person that founded not or brought technology to these islands. They were quite infamous, and you've got to discover all these kind of secrets. However, saying that, there isn't like, it doesn't feel like there's a personal story going on with yourself or that you interact with, so it's kind of lacking in that way.
So it's more about the story of the world rather than the story of the
and even
character.
then, the story of the world, it doesn't feel there's enough, because there's no, again, you don't really kind of link it to people, so it's kind of like, okay, all right, fair enough. But yeah, there's and also I don't like, so selling to different shops is easy enough, but when you go to actually manufacture things, it's really difficult to kind of set up, because at first you're buying from this like one person, this sort of like floating turtle, because the wise men, they sell you things, and then you can set up like your own sort of manufacturing. But it's like, it's I think there should be more of a tutorial there, and then it's like, okay, I've set up my, like, a particular manufacturing, like I've done these glass bottles, and then it's like you don't set up sort of selling them to the islands, you sell them at the bazaar, and then of course you're not selling all of them, so it's like, so you're stuck with like whatever inventory you've got left, and it's like, oh, this is so annoying. So yeah, that definitely needs adjustments. Other than that, I really enjoyed this. And another thing, they, a few days ago, or for a few weeks, it was at £11.39. That's what the full price they said it was at, and they've put it at, so 34% off, so it's £7.51. The original price was £7.51. So they just artificially inflated it, so they could like say, "Oh, look at this big discount that it's at."
That's $14.99. So the price went up, and
I know people. I know developers do this on Steam. I know they do, and it's always annoying for me when they do it. I think it's at a really decent price at £7.51, and they could have just put, okay, we're going to put 10% off, and they would have sold a hell of a lot more, I feel. Saying that, 90% positive with 253 reviews. So yeah.
And they do say it is a 6 to 8 hour campaign. So
I've put in a lot more.
So there's kind of like an open end where you can just kind of keep going.
Yeah, although I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm still.
Okay. You're doing all the side stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting, because the thing is, like, when you fly through the sky, that you power your ship with kind of like electricity, and it slowly drains. Although at first it seems like you don't have enough of a power pack or something, so you're constantly having to recharge, and you're paying for that. So it's very difficult to get like you've got like a lot of money. I went bankrupt once, and the bank bailed me out, and you have to find the bank to pay them back. When I went there, it says, "Oh, do you want to invest 10%?" It didn't ask whether I could actually pay it back, although they fixed that today. So when I went back to pay today, it's like I had to pay out a massive chunk of cash because the interest.
This is too real.
It's too real.
Too real. Oy. Alrighty. And moving forward, our final game of the release list this week is Aground.
As one of the last human survivors, you find yourself stranded on an uninhabited island with a few other victims of the crash, and you craft, mine, and build your way to survival.
The pixel art looks nice, but I don't like how hard the edges are for the area where you dig. Because it's just too hard.
It
I'm
at
not a
least
fan.
defines. I'm assuming it at least defines the block area of exactly what's going to be dug.
I also don't like when you're, I don't know, maybe it's cutscene art or whatever. The characters just look terrible to me. Oh, it just I don't know. Also the background art, or even the foreground art where you've got your hut and everything. It just looks like it looks. Oh no, it's cringy for me. I'm not.
It looks like they stole their assets from Sim Ants. If anyone remembers that game, in all honesty.
Wow. Yeah, I have to say I'm not offended by the art style. It's just there are particular things I don't like the hard edges. There should not be hard edges like that in the pixel art. Maybe I get why they did it, but I don't think it was. I don't think it's aesthetically pleasing. Oh, and yes, the characters are ugly in the cutscenes, but I find that charming. But okay. All right, I'm in the minority here. I'll accept this.
We will fight you.
I'll accept this. The Fancy Fish Games is located out of Connecticut, and they have developed some previous titles. Notably, they have made... Oh, come on. Why is your link not working? Oh, right. They've made slash reality. It's like greater than / reality less than. And I Can't Escape Darkness, Deity Quest, Dragonfire, Quotidian, Transfuse. Quotidian?
Is it quotes in... I'm not going to say the rest of my thought.
Quotidian. Quotidian.
It's a D, not a T. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. It's like that.
Rethos Arcade. I Can't Escape. Adlib. A Different Color. Wow, it just keeps going. Holy crap. I was expecting the list to stop.
Well, they worked with the person who made Where the Bees Make Honey. And Newt One and Starcrossed. So yeah, it's like a collaboration of quite talented.
Yeah, they only have 5 games that are actually on Steam though. Wow. Okay, so they are veteran team. Perhaps they made some stylistic missteps in this particular game. Also, the UI isn't great. I will also say that the UI is less than ideal, I think. But there's a variety of different game modes and such going on here.
But yeah, it's I mean, a lot of people have responded well to this. It's like 342 very positive reviews and it stands at 95%. 40 people have reviewed it recently and that stands at 87%. So I'm just like kind of looking like what's the sort of consensus of criticism, but this is one of those instances where I wish there was a neutral review option for the game. It's not bad, but the issues it has make me disinterested in continuing to play it. Concept is good with the inclusion of a story and NPCs to help tell it. The game also runs well, and I didn't run into any instability or bugs, which is honestly pretty impressive. That said, I did find the gameplay slow and somewhat simplistic. There's a lot of grinding and travel between islands, which is necessary in order to use different crafting stations. It's tedious. The first journey is fun, but then when you're just holding down one button for minutes at a time to travel the map over and over, not so exciting. Yeah, that does sound pretty tedious. Oh, and I have to say, the last game I did run into a bug. So
really?
One of the floating islands, which is a turtle, and when I ran into him and then I went to click to enter the port, the turtle moved and then I got a black screen.
Oh no!
And couldn't do anything. So I had to hard quit out of there, go back into the game. It had saved it when I I'd gone out of there, which was good. I let the dev know, and that same day he fixed. He asked a few questions, what else, about it on the same day, and then fixed it on the same day.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. This is 20. So we're back on the ground. This is a 25% off at $11.24, $14.99 at full price. Which, considering their history, I don't really find that a terrible price. Those who've bought it seem to be down.
Yeah. It's £8.54. So it's $11.39 full price.
Yep. Whew. And with that, we just finished the list.
Yay!
Now there's the important question of who won the week, though. Which game here won the week for you? And I'm gonna ask Tom.
All right. Well, as I do the last couple of weeks, I'll do one from the Catchup, one from the main list.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say in the Catchup, it's probably going to go. I'm probably gonna go Hayfever.
Mm-hmm.
I like my tough platformers. I like, minus a few of the graphical things to it, I still thought it looked fun. So something I want to give a shot at some point. Like running into the peanuts. I like the whole mailman thing. I could care less if it ends up being a good platformer game, or especially a precision platformer. I don't know. It looks cute. So yeah, that's gonna be my pick of the week out of the Catchup group.
Mm-hmm.
And if we go into the main list proper, even though the name bothers me, I think I'm probably giving it to Pirates Outlaws. Just because like I like roguelite card games. I do. And so far there wasn't a ton offensive to that game besides the name. It's the card art looked good. Even never playing it before, I could already tell stuff going on, like, oh, here's your ammo. There's a card that has that same exact circle with a number in it. I bet you that's how much ammo that card costs to use. Like it had so much like good iconography, especially when it comes to board and card games, and it already falls in my wheelhouse for those type of games anyway. So yeah, my and only because of the name of it, I cannot award anything the Titan Juicy game of the week. It's only gonna be my game of the week because of the name.
Yep.
Pirates Outlaws.
Pirates Outlaws. Yep, and I went ahead and added it to my wish list. You've convinced me. Rody, what about you?
So I think from the main list, I mean, my top one would obviously be the Merchant of the Skies. But the thing is, I've got that game now.
Mm-hmm.
I've played it, and will play it till I've finished everything I feel I've played in it. So recommend it to anyone who wants a relaxing experience for sure, because there's no combat, there's no competing with anybody else. So yeah, it is a lovely experience. But as I've already got that, I feel the next game on my list is Later Daters. I definitely want to get that game.
Yeah, Later Daters.
It's just because I played Dream Daddy and I really enjoyed that game. Although I do, I would kind of and ah about whether I would get it right now or if I'm going to wait until the whole series comes out. But yeah, I would want to maybe put it out there to other people to maybe give a go or play, because it just seems very interesting. With the games of in the Catchup, I think I'd have to go with the Crimson Diamond or Lair of the Clockwork God. It's between those two. I think the Crimson Diamond is one I've seen a few I haven't seen a lot of it because I didn't want to be spoiled, but because I did. Colonel's Bequest was one of the very first kind of point and click kind of text games that I played, and it's just really interesting story. So I'm wondering how the story of this one, because it's murder mysteries are always they can be like really good, or they can they just don't quite hit the mark. So yeah, I'm very curious. Again, it's one of those ones where I think you do have to wait until the whole thing comes out, because otherwise you forget sort of like where you're at and everything.
Yeah.
Yep,
unless it's very well done, where it kind of closes off all the important mysteries between, like, the basically the only information you need to solve each chapter is within that chapter, but that can really limit the sort of narrative design. Yeah,
completely. And the other one I think would be Lair the Clockwork God. I mean, there's fast-paced point and click. I do like point and click games that the pacing is really good, and maybe you're not stuck too much in that it's just plodding along nicely. Like we said, the point and click game where the answer to a puzzle is always at the tip of your tongue. That's like, but because it's also a platformer as well, I'm wondering, would this really be for me? But it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame if I didn't get some enjoyment out of it, since I do love the series. So yeah. What about you, Dewey?
What you got, Dewey?
It's taken a lot of like hemming and hawing, but from the Catchup list, I think Taur would be my choice. From there, it just looks so crisp and clean for a tower defense RTS. Just really good style and activity. It's of course quite pricey, so I would not be picking it up anytime soon. But unless there's a major sale that happens, but it has a really good, just really excellent style, particularly for a solo dev. And from the main list, this is actually really difficult this week. But I think I'm going to have to agree with Tom on Pirates and Outlaws. So I think that is going to be the game that I am most interested in trying out myself. So, yep. Yeah, Pirates and Outlaws. Alrighty, and that is our games of the week. So I am going to just change up our panel to our lovely faces. Hi. Oh, you're kind of off to the side on this panel. There we go. Hi. And yeah, now the question is, what are we all doing this next week? And of course, like, shameless plugging and all that.
Tom, what are you up to?
Currently not quite certain what I'm up to this week. I'll figure it out as time goes. You can find me over at twitch.tv/TheRadioTomFM. You can find me on Twitter at, I think it's just TheRadioTom. I always forget because it changes a little too often. Over on Twitter at TheRadioTom. That's where you can find out if I'm going to be live, what stuff's going on. I'm going to be starting up a campaign that I'm calling the Tom for VO host on a Jackbox game 2020. That we I need to try to make up a little campaign and get a lot of retweets and all that.
Does Steam let you have that? Does Twitch have that many? Let you have that many characters in your title?
Hashtag Yellow Swag Tom for Jackbox VO 2020. Yeah, I think that's under 150.
Oh, okay.
We should be good somewhere. So yeah, that's what I got going on.
Cool. What about you, Rody?
Yeah, I really want to jump back into playing Whispers of the Machine. I want to get that done. It's just trying to coordinate sort of like me being active enough, awake enough, and Akio, because I know he's like really super busy being being as an essential worker that he is, but it's always like very helpful to have someone to bounce ideas off if you're doing a point and click game. And so yeah, it's 6-day weeks. Yes. Oh my god, absolutely.
My
Yeah, he's working
condolences.
hard. Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah.
word.
But in the meantime, check out YouTube, and also check out our curator page at I'll put the link there. But yeah, you can find me maybe during the week, and I do very quite short and sweet streams, usually about 2.5 hours at twitch.tv/Roadypie.
Yep. And I am streaming on, of course, the channel that we're on right now. Tuesdays, I am streaming Crosscode, and Wednesdays, assuming my brother is available, I may be streaming co-op with him. Although lately he has also got work lately, so it's been somewhat irregular with him. But yeah, so Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and of course we might have a special stream where we continue the Guild Wars 2 storyline. We played a couple chapters recently off stream. Wasn't really feeling it to stream it, but we did play it off stream, and I've never hated an allied character so much. But that's but Godless Weeb knows all about that. So
you guys were going to do another stream together, weren't you? Try out to...
We are. Yeah, we didn't get it this last Monday. Ooh. Something came out, but like life came up really. But yeah, hopefully we can do it again if your Mondays or whatever day is still available.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll make her work, sir. We'll make her work.
Yay. And with all of that, thank you so much, folks who stopped by. Akiho, Buffoon Batman, Godless Veeb, and I know Bodok, and there's someone else. Nope, I think that's all all the folks that chatted. I hope I didn't forget anyone. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. This is going to be going up on YouTube. And so farewell, YouTube. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please
Bye,
like,
guys.
subscribe,
Thanks
and
for
hit the
tuning in.
bell.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe.
That stuff.
Woo! Cut.
We got